The following program is sponsored by RCP Productions Incorporated and Friends of the Shalom Show.
Thank you for joining us. We are on location at the Boca Raton Airport for the Civil Air Patrol Composite Squadron's grand event here, opening and dedicating a new hangar. And we'll be meeting with community leaders and commanders of the U.S. Air Force Auxiliary Civil Air Patrol following these messages.
The mission of the Life Extension Foundation is to support scientific research and to gather and disseminate information related to the delay and eventual elimination of disease, aging, and premature death. The foundation is careful to commit its research dollars to projects that are difficult or impossible to fund with government dollars, institutional grants, or through other funding sources. It is essential to make anti-aging research a priority today to prevent a healthcare catastrophe caused by aging baby boomers overwhelming our healthcare systems. Education is the first step. Education is what the nonprofit Life Extension Foundation has been doing for decades. Established over 37 years ago, the foundation has provided $200 million in funding to biomedical research projects across the country. With your help and support, we will achieve this goal.
Find magic again. Sprout by HP. With Intel RealSense technology inside, now you can bend the rules of creativity outside.
Hi, I'm astronaut Eric Bowe. When you pack for space, you prioritize, but you also find yourself bringing something special. I brought my Civil Air Patrol award on the Space Shuttle Endeavour. In the Civil Air Patrol, I flew solo for the first time, and I learned aviation history and leadership skills. Challenge yourself, do what you love, see where flight takes you.
Good evening. My name is Lt Col Michael Harding, and I am the commander of the United States Air Force Auxiliary Civil Air Patrol. I'd like to welcome you here today to inaugurate our new hangar and our new Air Force airplane. I'd like to ask you all to stand for the posting of the colors. Thank you. Take your seats, please. Before we start, I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight. I know everyone's got a very busy schedule, especially with the hurricanes coming, but I do appreciate you all taking the time to come out. I'd also like to thank the mayor and the mayor's office for coming out, the Boca Raton Authority and their staff, our group staff members, our members, family, and friends. As many of you know, the Civil Air Patrol has been part of this community since World War II. While airmen were training here at Boca Raton Airfield, CAP was patrolling the coastline looking for and sinking enemy subs. Since then, we've had a long history of serving the community of Boca Raton. Civil Air Patrol is a congressionally chartered auxiliary of the United States Air Force with three primary missions: cadet programs, aerospace education, and emergency services. As you can see by the fine young cadets sitting behind you, we have a cadet program that takes 12 to 21-year-old youths and trains them to be dynamic young Americans. We train them in leadership, physical fitness, aerospace, and character development. Many go on to aviation or military careers and become leaders in the community. Past Boca Raton cadets are currently in the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and one of our cadets became the youngest 737 captain in the United States. Our second mission is aerospace education, where we teach the benefits and value of aerospace to our members and the community through outreach programs and school programs. Our third mission is emergency services. Boca was a primary mission base for emergency services in South Florida for decades. In fact, I joined CIP in 1985 after being rescued from the Everglades by a Boca Raton search and rescue aircrew. That ended in 2005 when Hurricane Wilma destroyed our facilities here at Boca. Since then, the Boca Raton Squadron has taken on a much smaller role in emergency services and focused mostly on the cadet program. Last year, when Civil Air Patrol became part of the Total Air Force, along with the active, reserve, and guard units, it was decided that Boca Raton was an ideal location to fill the response gap for South Florida. Upon taking command a few years ago, my staff and I have been diligently working to rebuild the Boca Squadron as a fully functional emergency services unit for South Florida. In the past year, our squadron has trained and qualified dozens of members, including cadets, for air and ground teams. Once fully operational, our unit will have air, ground, and radio teams that are capable of conducting search and rescue missions, such as finding missing boats, airplanes, and persons. We will also be capable of flying disaster relief missions, such as flying recon on evacuation routes prior to a hurricane landfall, photo recon after landfall to identify impact areas, and act as a force multiplier for emergency responders. Unfortunately, it looks like that may be coming a lot quicker than we anticipated. We also assist government agencies with counter-drug missions, such as flying over government land looking for illegal grow fields, and air defense missions, such as helping to train Air Force fighters to intercept civilian aircraft. Our base teams will also run VHF and HF radios that are capable of reaching the county and state EOCs, Emergency Operations Centers, during communication blackouts, and our aircraft are also capable of acting as airborne repeaters. All these missions are staffed 100% by volunteers who take money out of their own pocket for their equipment and training, and also take time away from their families to serve. The Air Force provides us with equipment such as aircraft, radios, and computers, but does not provide funding for facilities or day-to-day operating expenses. To facilitate our goal of standing up a new emergency services base here at Boca Raton, the Air Force has generously provided us with a $750,000 brand new Cessna 182 four-seat airplane. It is equipped with all-glass G1000 cockpit and a state-of-the-art search and rescue gear. One of the conditions for accepting the new airplane was that it must be kept hangared to protect the sensitive instrumentation. Through generous donations and assistance of the Boca Raton Airport Authority board and staff, we have been able to lease this hangar and store our new aircraft. Now that we have a state-of-the-art aircraft based at Boca, we are one step closer to completing our goal of becoming a fully functional emergency services base. Our last step is to turn our existing meeting space into a functional mission facility capable of running air and ground operations. So hopefully you'll all be back in a few months when we open up our new facility next door here. At this time, I'd like to ask our Group 6 Commander, Lt Col Jaime Lichi, to come up and say a few words.
Good evening. I'm the Group 6 Commander. I am in charge, or responsible, I should say, for 13 squadrons that go from south end of Broward County all the way to Okeechobee County. And among those squadrons, we have approximately 600 members under my command. Now we're able to commit a lot of our resources into search and rescue, but at the same time we're gaining our momentum with the cadets and also aerospace, and that makes a big difference to us. What the City of Boca Raton has done and the Boca Raton Airport Authority is invaluable. I mean, you guys have no idea what this means as far as what we can do for the community and what we can do for the state of Florida in general. And lastly, again, what's happened here today is hopefully just the beginning. So really thank you so much. We appreciate it. At this moment, we would like to present a certificate of appreciation to the Airport Authority.
At this time, I'd like to ask Mayor Susan Haynie to come up and say a few words.
Well, good evening, morning, everyone. I'm Susan Haynie, honored to be the mayor of Boca Raton. I'm joined here with Councilmember Robert Weinroth, and just on behalf of the city, we really value our partnership with the Boca Raton Airport Authority and all the wonderful things that you're doing here for Civil Air Patrol. As you said, as we look down the approaching storm, we're all going to have to come together as a community, and how wonderful that we can in this way to serve each other. And the way that you're dealing with the cadets, beautiful young people, really training them to be our next future leaders in our country. It makes us all extremely proud. So on behalf of the entire city of Boca Raton, we're here for you in any way that you need us to assist you so that we can continue to partner and be a great success. So thank you very much.
At this time, I'd like to ask the Boca Raton Mayor, Susan Haynie, and the Boca Raton Airport Authority Chairman, Mitch Vogel, to cut the ceremonial ribbon to dedicate our new hangar. And so you all please stand for retiring of the colors. Once again, I'd like to thank Major Haynie and the City of Boca Raton, the members of the Boca Raton Airport Authority, board and staff, members of the press, all of our members, parents, and friends for coming out tonight to celebrate this special day with us. I'd also like to thank Lieutenant Simpson, our Public Affairs Officer, who was instrumental in putting this ceremony together. And thank you for all for coming, and good night, and enjoy your presents.
With us now are Lieutenant Colonel Lichi and Lieutenant Colonel Bertie Harris. A real pleasure and privilege to be with you here today.
Thank you.
Sir, a real pleasure.
Same here.
Historic times we're witnessing. What are your thoughts with regard to this today?
I think it's a great day for Group 6 and this squadron being able to serve the community in a better way with this new hangar and this airplane here, because I mean before the reach that we had was limited, and now we have a tremendous reach with this airplane and the capabilities that it has. So, we're very happy with it.
So here we are at the present time, but there's also a lot of history here. Lieutenant Colonel Bertie Harris, you helped sink enemy submarines. You were in World War II. Tell us about your thoughts today.
Well, this is particularly thrilling for me because 12 years ago, after Hurricane Christina, I was here when this hangar was blown down and planes were laying all over the place. And it's nice to see 12 years later a reincarnation of the Boca Raton Squadron. I'm thrilled to be here.
What is the significance of Civil Air Patrol today at this time in history where community involvement and community service is really more important than ever before?
Well, I think that as far as serving the community, every aspect of what we do serves the community. We basically have a cadet program that is equal to none in the country, actually probably in the world. We encourage our cadets to become leaders, and by that we make them better adults. Whether they join any service or not is really not relevant. I mean, I came in as an architect, and as an architect I have learned after 10 years of being in Civil Air Patrol that I can do much better for my country and I can help the community better. That's just one of the aspects. I mean, being able to search and rescue, find people that could have been dead if it wasn't the case that we're there. I mean, we actually save about 80 to 90 lives a year with what we do. I mean, we have served the state of Florida with many different missions. We did the Panhandle when we had the oil spill up there, if you remember. We flew so many sorties in here, and to be able to do the recon on that. And it's something that we hope is not going to happen now, but I mean, if it's necessary, we'll do it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And Colonel Harris, a final message from you for our audience.
Well, as Civil Air Patrol is now a part of the total force of the United States Air Force, and after 30 years of being a Civil Air Patrol member, I'm very, very proud to be part of the total force of the United States Air Force. And the Civil Air Patrol is doing a service to our nation, and it will continue to do it.
Gentlemen, a pleasure and honor to be with you again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate your time.
Thank you,
so
Colonel
Thank
Harris.
you, Richard. Good seeing you.
Thank you.
Now, you've heard of the Civil Air Patrol, of course. The Civil Air Patrol, the CAP, Vigilant Civilian Volunteers.
With the largest fleet of single-engine planes at their disposal, these patriotic patrols are now playing a key role in protecting the homeland.
The point is, World War II could have turned out a lot differently if not for the men and women of the Civil Air Patrol.
60,000 volunteers across the country who man the Civil Air Patrol's missions, and performing 85% of all inland search and rescue operations.
When Katrina hit, the Civil Air Patrol was there. Sandy, too. And the Civil Air Patrol was on the scene when terrorists attacked our country on 9/11.
We save lives and we save resources. We are the experienced and we are the future. For 75 years, we have volunteered to serve our communities, our states, and our nation as the auxiliary of the United States Air Force. We will continue to do so with honor. We are the Civil Air Patrol.
duty, honor, country. Those three hallowed words reverently dictate what you ought to be.
With us now is Squadron Commander Mike Harding. A real pleasure, sir.
Thank you for coming out.
Please tell us about this event.
Well, this is a very important day for us. We actually received a generous donation from the Boca Raton Airport Authority to furnish us this hangar to hold our brand new Air Force airplane here, which is going to aid us in assisting the South Florida with search and rescue missions, disaster relief missions, and emergency services missions.
How do you see the significance of civil air patrol at this time in history?
Actually, it's a very important time as the actual Air Force is winding down. A lot of their day-to-day missions are being tasked with Civil Air Patrol. We're doing 95% of the inland search and rescue missions. We actually are doing training with the Air Force fighter pilots, teaching them how to intercept small airplanes for homeland security. We're also doing reconnaissance missions over infrastructure during key events. So actually our mission has increased quite a bit since 9/11, but our core is still serving the community.
Lieutenant Colonel, this has been a real pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Clear? Yes, sir! I'm Cadet Technical Sergeant Bjorn C.W. Nielsen. Welcome to Basic Cadet Training, your first step towards becoming an officer in the world's greatest Air Force. The cadre are here to prepare you for the challenges you will face, both as cadets and as officers. It is our responsibility to bring out the warrior spirit within you, to instill courage and push you beyond your limits.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. No excuse, ma'am.
United States Air Force. Having been appointed cadet in the United States Air Force.
close call.
Up next are the Barons of Cadet Squadron 26, led by their squadron commander, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Drew Rosenthal of Troy, Illinois.
The mission of the Life Extension Foundation is to support scientific research and to gather and disseminate information related to the delay and eventual elimination of disease, aging, and premature death. The Foundation is careful to commit its research dollars to projects that are difficult or impossible to fund with government dollars, institutional grants, or through other funding sources. It is essential to make anti-aging research a priority today to prevent a healthcare catastrophe caused by aging baby boomers overwhelming our healthcare systems. Education is the first step. Education is what the nonprofit Life Extension Foundation has been doing for decades. Established over 37 years ago, the foundation has provided $200 million in funding to biomedical research projects across the country. With your help and support, we will achieve this goal.
This concludes our special show for today from On Location in Boca Raton. I'm Richard Peretz. Thank you for being with us.